The day I signed the papers for my first house at 25 years old was supposed to be the proudest moment of my life. 7 years of working 6 days a week, living with 3 roommates in a cramped apartment, skipping vacations, driving a beat-up car, eating rice and beans, more times than I can count. All of it led to that moment. I thought my family would be proud of me. But just 2 weeks after I moved in, my mom called with a request that left me speechless. What could possibly turn my greatest joy into a nightmare with just one phone call? Before we dive into this story, let me know in the comments where you are watching from today. If you enjoy stories about standing up for yourself and protecting what you have worked hard for, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now let me take you back to where it all started, so you can understand why what happened next shattered everything I believed about my own family. My name is Felicia, and I grew up in a small town in Ohio. I was the oldest of 3 kids. My younger brother Derek is 22 now, and my baby sister Mia just turned 19 and is away at college. Our dad passed away when I was 14. He was a construction worker, and there was an accident on the job site. One moment he was there, and the next moment our whole world fell apart. After Dad died, something shifted in our family. I was just a teenager, but I felt this weight on my shoulders, like I needed to step up and be the man of the house. Mom never asked me to do that directly, but the expectation was always there, hanging in the air like humidity on a summer day. Derek was different. Mom always said he was sensitive, that he had an artist's soul. When Dad died, Derek retreated into himself. He started drawing, which was fine at first, but then he discovered video games, and that became his whole world. Mom never pushed him to get a job or help around the house. She said he needed time to process his grief. That was 8 years ago. I started working at 16 bagging groceries at the local store after school and on weekends. Every dollar I earned, I saved. I had a dream, and that dream was to own my own home someday, a place that was mine where no one could tell me what to do or kick me out. After high school, I did not go to college. I knew I could not afford it without drowning in debt, and I did not want to burden Mom with loans. Instead, I enrolled in a trade program and became an electrician. It was hard work, but it paid well, and I was good at it. For 7 years, I worked like a machine. I took every overtime shift I could get. I lived in that cramped apartment with 3 other guys sleeping on a mattress on the floor to save money on rent. I did not buy new clothes unless my old ones had holes in them. I did not go on dates because I could not afford to take anyone anywhere nice. Every single month, I sent Mom $300 to help with bills at home. And you know what? I never once complained, because I had a goal and nothing was going to stop me from reaching it. The day I finally had enough for a down payment on a house, I cried. I sat in my car outside the bank and just let the tears flow. 7 years of sacrifice, and I had done it. I found a small 3-bedroom house in a quiet suburb, about 45 minutes from where Mom lived. It needed some work, but it was perfect. It was mine. When I called Mom to tell her the news, I expected her to be happy for me. I expected congratulations, maybe even some tears of joy. Instead, she asked me a question that caught me off guard. How many bedrooms does it have? I told her 3, and there was this pause on the line. Then she said, "Good, that is enough room." I asked her what she meant, but she just said we would talk about it later. I brushed it off, thinking maybe she was just distracted or having a bad day. I was too excited about my new house to let anything bring me down. 2 weeks later, I had moved in and was starting to unpack. The house still smelled like fresh paint because I had spent my first weekend there painting every room. I was arranging furniture in the living room when my phone rang. It was Mom, Felicia. She said, her voice carrying that tone she uses when she wants something. "We need to talk about Derek." I felt my stomach tighten. What about him? He is struggling, she said. He has been really depressed lately. He does not have any space to be creative at the house. I think it would be good for him to move in with you. I was quiet for a moment, processing what she was asking. Part of me wanted to say no immediately. I had just gotten my own place, my sanctuary, my reward for 7 years of hard work. But Derek was my brother, and if he was really struggling, maybe I could help. Okay, I said slowly. I guess he could take one of the smaller bedrooms and... No, Mom interrupted. He needs the master bedroom. It has the most natural light, and that is important for his art. You understand, right? You are his big brother. You have to look out for him. I could not believe what I was hearing. She wanted me to give up my master bedroom, the room I had specifically chosen because of its size, and the attached bathroom to my brother, who had never held a job in his life. But the guilt was strong, and Mom knew exactly how to use it. You are the strong one, Felicia, she said. Derek is fragile. He needs this more than you do. Against every instinct in my body, I agreed. Derek showed up 3 days later with Mom driving him over. He had 3 boxes of stuff. 3 boxes. That was it. I helped him carry them inside, and I noticed the contents close a gaming console with 3 monitors, controllers, headphones, and a few sketchbooks. I did not see a single easel canvas or any real art supplies. I had already moved my things into the smaller bedroom. It was maybe half the size of the master with no attached bathroom. Every time I walked past my old room and saw Derek setting up his gaming station, I felt a knot in my stomach. He did not even say thank you. The first week was bearable. Derek stayed in his room most of the time, which I expected. But by the second week, problems started appearing like weeds after rain. Derek stayed up until 4 a.m. every single night playing games online with his friends. And he was not quiet about it. He screamed into his microphone, cursed at his teammates, and slammed his desk when he lost matches. My bedroom wall shared with the master, and I could hear everything. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to get to my job sites on time. I was running on 2 or 3 hours of sleep every night. My work started to suffer. I almost injured myself twice because I was so exhausted I could not focus. Then there were the groceries. I would buy food for the week on Sunday, and by Wednesday, it would all be gone. Derek ate everything. Whole pizzas, bags of chips, gallons of milk. He never once offered to replace anything or chip in for groceries. The electric bill came after his first full month there, and I almost choked. It had doubled. 3 monitors running 16 hours a day, plus the air conditioning cranked up because all that equipment generated so much heat. When I showed Derek the bill and asked him to contribute, he looked at me like I had asked him to donate a kidney. Artists cannot be burdened with financial stress, he said. It blocks creativity. Mom said you would understand. I tried talking to Mom about it. I called her and explained the situation, the sleepless nights, the food, the bills. I expected her to be sympathetic, to maybe talk to Derek about being more considerate. Instead, she defended him. He is going through a hard time, Felicia. You have always been the responsible one. Derek needs support, not criticism. Just be patient with him. I started to feel like I was losing my mind. This was my house bought with my money, my sacrifice, my years of hard work. And I was being treated like a tenant in my own home. One evening, about a month after Derek moved in, I came home from work early. There had been a delay at the job site, so I got off a few hours ahead of schedule. I walked into the house and heard Derek talking loudly in his room. I assumed he was on a game call, but then I heard Mom's voice coming through his speakers. He had her on speakerphone. I stood in the hallway not meaning to eavesdrop, but what I heard next froze me in place. "Have you talked to your brother about me moving in yet?" Mom asked. "Not yet," Derek replied. "But once you are here, he cannot do anything about it. You know how Felicia is. He will complain, but he will not actually kick us out." Mom laughed. "That is my smart boy. Once I am there, we can figure out the rest. That house has plenty of room for all of us. He can keep paying the mortgage, and we can live comfortably. It is the least he can do after everything I sacrificed raising him." I felt like someone had poured ice water into my veins. My own mother, the woman I had been sending money to for years, the woman I had sacrificed so much for, was plotting with my brother to take over my house. They saw me as nothing more than a source of income, a sucker who would keep paying while they lived for free. I backed away quietly and went outside to sit in my car. I did not trust myself to confront them in that moment. My hands were shaking and I could barely breathe. Everything I thought I knew about my family was a lie. That night, I did not sleep at all. I sat in my small bedroom, the one that should not have been mine, and stared at the ceiling. Memories flooded my mind. Every time I had worked overtime, every meal I had skipped to save money, every time I had said no to hanging out with friends because I was too tired or too broke. 7 years of my life poured into this house, and my own family wanted to steal it from me. I thought about my dad. What would he say if he could see what Mom and Derek were doing? He was a hard worker, an honest man who believed in earning what you have. He would be ashamed of them, and he would tell me to stand up for myself. Around 3 a.m, I finally let myself cry, really cry, for the first time since Dad's funeral. I cried for the brother I thought I had, for the mother I thought loved me unconditionally, for the naive version of myself who believed that family would always have your back. The next morning, I called in sick to work. Then I called my best friend Marcus. We had gone through the electrician program together, and he was the one person I trusted completely. I told him everything. Brother Marcus said after a long pause, "They are using you. They have been using you for years. You need to protect yourself before it is too late." He gave me his cousin, his number A lawyer, who specialized in real estate and tenant issues. I called her that afternoon, and what she told me was terrifying. "If your mother moves in and establishes residency," she explained, "getting her out becomes a legal nightmare. Even though you own the house and pay the mortgage, evicting a family member can take months, sometimes over a year. And during that time, she would have every right to stay." I asked about Derek, since he was already living there. She said I needed to give him official written notice to vacate, and I needed to do it through certified mail so there would be a legal record. In my state, I had to give him 30 days. I spent the next week preparing in secret. I did not let on that I knew anything. I smiled at Derek when I saw him, even though it made me sick. I answered Mama's calls and pretended everything was fine. First, I went to a locksmith and had all the locks changed on the exterior doors and the garage. I kept the new keys with me at all times and did not give copies to anyone. Then I started documenting everything. I took photos of the electric bills, the empty refrigerator, after Derek raids the gaming setup in the master bedroom that was supposed to be an art studio. I saved every text message where Derek refused to contribute financially. I wrote down dates and times of his late-night gaming sessions that kept me awake. Finally, I drafted a formal eviction notice with help from the lawyer. It was polite but firm. It stated that Derek had 30 days to vacate the premises, and it cited the reasons: failure to contribute to household expenses, disruption of the homeowner is peace and quiet, and violation of the verbal agreement that this living arrangement was temporary. I sent it through certified mail to my own address which felt strange, but the lawyer said it was necessary for legal protection. When it arrived, I left it on the kitchen counter where Derek would find it. His reaction was exactly what I expected. He stormed into my room, waving the letter, his face red with anger. "What is this?" he demanded. "You cannot kick me out." "Mom said—" "I do not care what Mom said," I interrupted, keeping my voice calm, even though my heart was pounding. "This is my house. I pay the mortgage. I pay the bills. And you have done nothing but take advantage of me since you got here. You have 30 days. He sputtered and threatened to call Mom. I told him to go ahead. 3 days later, on a Saturday afternoon, I heard a car pull into my driveway. I looked out the window and saw Mom getting out of her car. She walked to the trunk and pulled out 2 large suitcases. I met her at the front door before she could reach it. "Felicia," she said with a smile that did not reach her eyes, "I am moving in. Derek told me about that silly letter. We need to have a talk about respecting your family." I stood in the doorway blocking her entrance. "No, Mom, you are not moving in. You were not invited, and you are not welcome to live here." Her smile disappeared. "Excuse me, I am your mother. I raised you. I sacrificed everything for you kids. And this is how you repay me." I felt Derek come up behind me, watching the confrontation. Good. I wanted him to hear this too. "I know about your plan," I said, my voice steady. "I heard your phone call with Derek. I know you two have been scheming to take over my house to let me keep paying the mortgage while you both live here for free. I know you see me as nothing but a paycheck." Mama's face went pale. "Felicia, that is not—" "Do not lie to me," I said. "I heard every word. How I cannot do anything once you are here. How this house has plenty of room for all of you. How it is the least I can do after everything you sacrificed." She opened her mouth and closed it again. For the first time in my life, I saw my mother speechless. "I love you, Mom," I continued. "I have always loved you. I worked myself to the bone and sent you money every month because I wanted to help. But I am not going to let you or Derek take everything I have built. This house is mine. I earned it, and I deserve to be treated with respect." Derek jumped in. "You are being selfish. Family is supposed to take care of each other." I turned to look at him. "Family is supposed to take care of each other," I repeated. "You are right, Derek. So where were you when I was working 70-hour weeks? Where were you when I was living on ramen noodles so I could save money? When did you ever sacrifice anything for this family?" He had no answer. "Mom tried a different approach. If you kick us out, you will regret it. You will be all alone. No family. No one who cares about you. I would rather be alone than be used," I said. "And I am not kicking you out, Mom. You do not live here. You cannot be kicked out of a place where you do not live. But Derek has his 30 days, and that deadline is not changing." She grabbed her suitcases with shaking hands, her face twisted with anger. "You are making a huge mistake, Felicia. Do not come crying to me when you realize what you have done." I watched her load the suitcases back into her car and drive away. Then I turned to Derek. 27 days, I said. "Start packing." The next 3 weeks were tense. Derek tried everything. He tried guilt telling me how hard his life was, how no one understood his artistic vision. He tried bargaining, promising he would get a job and contribute, though we both knew that was a lie. He even tried threatening to tell everyone in our extended family what a terrible person I was. I did not budge. I had spent my whole life being the one who gave in, who sacrificed, who put everyone else's needs before my own. Not anymore. On day 28, I came home from work to find Derek's room empty. He had taken his gaming setup, his clothes, and his sketchbooks. He left behind a mess of trash and food wrappers that took me 2 hours to clean up. Before he left, he sent me one final text message. "You will regret this. When you are old and alone, Remember that you chose this. I read it once, then deleted it. The first few weeks after Derek left were strange. The house felt empty, but not in a bad way. It was peaceful, quiet. I could sleep through the night for the first time in months. I did not have to worry about my food disappearing or my electric bill skyrocketing, but I would be lying if I said I was not struggling emotionally. I had lost my mother and my brother not to death, but to something that felt almost worse. I had lost the illusion that they loved me unconditionally. I had lost the family I thought I had. I started seeing a therapist. I found her through my company's employee assistance program, and it was the best decision I ever made. Her name was Dr. Simmons, a kind woman in her 50s with gray-streaked hair and warm eyes. She did not judge me or tell me what to do. She just listened and helped me understand my own feelings. She helped me see that I had been cast in a role from a very young age. I was the responsible one, the strong one, the one who sacrificed. And my family had taken advantage of that role for years. Setting boundaries was not selfish. It was necessary. It was healthy. I started rebuilding my life. I fixed up my house the way I wanted, not worrying about accommodating anyone else. I painted the master bedroom a deep navy blue and finally moved back into it. I bought a king-size bed and actually splurged on nice sheets for the first time in my life. I started exercising again, going to the gym 3 times a week. I joined a book club at the local library, something I had always wanted to do but never had time for. That is where I met Harper. Harper was 26 with curly auburn hair and a laugh that could fill a room. She worked as a veterinary technician and had a rescue dog named Biscuit, who she talked about constantly. We started as friends, bonding over our shared love of mystery novels. Slowly, it turned into something more. 6 months after Derek left, I got a call from Mia. My little sister had been away at college during all of this, and I had deliberately not involved her in the drama. She deserved to focus on her studies. I heard what happened, she said. Mom and Derek have been telling everyone their version of the story. I sighed. Let me guess. I am the villain who abandoned his family. She laughed softly. Something like that. But I know you, Felicia. You are the most generous person I know. If you cut them off, they must have done something really bad. I told her the truth. Everything. The gaming, the bills, the overheard phone call, the plan to take over my house. She listened without interrupting. I am so sorry, she said when I finished. I had no idea they were like that. For what it is worth, I do not blame you at all. And I want you to know that I am not going to take sides. You are my brother, and I love you. That is not going to change. I felt tears prick my eyes. Thank you, Mia. That means more than you know. She also gave me an update on Derek. Apparently, without me to mooch off of, he had been forced to get a job. He was working at a warehouse doing inventory and loading trucks. He still played video games, but not nearly as much, because he was too tired after work. I did not feel triumphant hearing that. I just felt sad. Sad that it took losing everything for Derek to finally grow up. Sad that our mother had enabled his behavior for so long. Sad that our family had fallen apart. But I also felt at peace. Looking back on everything that happened, I learned some hard lessons. I learned that loving someone does not mean letting them use you. I learned that setting boundaries is not cruel. It is self-respect. I learned that sometimes the people who are supposed to love you the most are the ones who hurt you the worst. I also learned that I am stronger than I ever knew. I built a life for myself from nothing. I bought a house at 25, through sheer determination and hard work. And when my family tried to take that away from me, I stood up and said no. Now I have a beautiful home that I am proud of. I have a girlfriend who treats me with respect and kindness. I have a sister who loves me without conditions. And I have peace. If you are watching this and you are in a similar situation, if someone in your life is taking advantage of your kindness, if you are being made to feel guilty for wanting to protect what is yours, I want you to know that you are not alone and you are not wrong for wanting to set boundaries. You deserve to be loved properly. You deserve to be respected. And sometimes the hardest but most important thing you can do is stand up and say enough. So let me ask you this. If you were in my situation, what would you have done? Would you have kept sacrificing to keep the peace? Or would you have stood up for yourself like I did? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and share it with someone who might need to hear it.